Is there anything more fascinating than human potential? In the Adelaide podcast, you'll learn how to harness your mental greatness and achieve extraordinary performance.
Holy shit, like somebody's actually shooting at me.
I am coming to you from an igloo.
That was what One Life Live It is about for me. It's just about going out there and living your life in the best way that you know how.
So your Ironman race, was that your first ever triathlon?
Yes.
That is, I want to say, insane.
And I just think if your knickers are right, your day goes right.
Welcome to the Adelaide podcast, teaching you how to achieve extraordinary performance. This episode is brought to you by my very own newsletter. Each week, I cover one mindset tactic to help you enhance your mental fitness. It's free and you can sign up at adelaidegoodeve.com/subscribe. If I'm doing any meetups, events, special coaching programs, giveaways, or anything else that's limited, then I share it with my subscribers first. So check it out at adelaidegoodeve.com/subscribe. In your welcome email, you'll receive an exclusive interview with elite endurance athlete and scientist Olof Dullner. This beautiful ebook is perfect for an inspirational read while commuting or chilling out on a Sunday. You'll learn the mindset techniques that Olof uses to become the best he can be, which according to his friends is superhuman. It's really easy to sign up to my newsletter. You'll get the awesome interview with Olof, so check it out at adelaidegoodeve.com/subscribe. Thanks for listening, and now on to the great conversation. In this episode, I am chatting to one lady who is just kicking butt at life. She is really amazing, and I met her at the Norseman Extreme Triathlon, which you may have come across if you've been listening to the other episodes of the Adelaide podcast. And it is one of the world's toughest triathlons. You have a 3.8 kilometre swim in a ford by jumping off a ferry, a 180 kilometre cycle ride through some mountains, and then you have a marathon run on the end, which culminates in finishing on top of a mountain. In total, you ascend over 5,000 metres of Norwegian landscape. And my guest today finished in the top 12, and she was the first woman to cross the finish line. And she did it in under 12 hours, becoming the first woman to do so on this course, and also completely destroyed and smashed the course record. So I'm really excited to introduce to you today Mette Pettersen, who is Norwegian, and we talk all things Norseman and mindset. The more I spoke and discovered Mette's story, the more I fell in love with her, and I know you will too. So I hope you really enjoyed this episode as much as I enjoyed talking to Mette as well. Hello, Mette. Welcome to the podcast.
Hello, Adelaide. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you on. So before we dive into your journey and your story, for those who don't know who you are, please could you describe what it is you do in the world today?
Yes, I live in Norway, in Oslo. It's the capital of Norway. I'm from the northern part of Norway, so I actually come from above the Arctic Circle, where no sun in the winter. I have a mother of two. I'm married, and I work as a full-time coach with my own company. So doing triathlon is one of my hobbies and one of my passions.
Gosh, I can't imagine what it would be like living above the Arctic Circle.
It's kind of very nice in the summer. In the winter, it's dark.
Yeah, I can imagine. I've been there once. I found it really exciting, but that was just for a week.
Yeah, it's really, really nice. The scenery is just amazing. It's just that the climate is kind of really varies a lot. So it's difficult to do outdoor sports. So yeah, it's better here in Oslo.
Oh, Oslo is so beautiful.
Yes, it is.
So you mentioned that you're married and 2 children, which we're going to dive into later on, about how you balance all your training and your work and your family life. But I'm really intrigued as to your journey into triathlon and becoming a pro triathlete.
Yes. I actually think it's a coincidence that I started with triathlon. When I was a young girl, until I was 18, I was a competitive swimmer, doing a lot of swimming all day long and all week long. So I kind of got really, really fed up with swimming. And I didn't swim for, I think, was 15 years or so. I tried to many times, but every time I tried to swim, I just went out diving and having fun instead. So I started to do a lot of different kind of training: biking, cross-country skiing, running, etc. So I kind of got a really varied background with doing sports. So in 2010, I just wanted to do one triathlon for one time, just to see how it was and what happened. And that was Oslo Triathlon in 2011 in August. And I won it. So that was the first time that I felt that I had a sport that I could do so many variations in. And I really liked that. And also that it was outdoors. So yeah, it was kind of a coincidence. So after that, in 2011, I started with a team, Team Nakamura, and started actually to go pro in 2014. And that was when I was trying to get a Kona slot in 2015, but I missed that by 2 spots. So after that, I started more like training for fun, and I trained myself down, and it went 2 years, and that's when I felt ready, and I really felt the urge to do Norseman. So it's not, I haven't been in triathlon for so long, but it's it's been 8 years now, so it's some years, but it's not been a part of my life for a long time.
And when did you become a coach?
I became a coach, I think, when I was, actually, that's a good question. I think it was in 2014. I started for the first time. Because then at that time I was actually working in the training industry. I don't know if you know what I mean with that, but it's the training centers and gyms and aerobic and spinning and all that kind of stuff. So I was working there, but I found out that if I wanted to do and go pro, I had to work less and train more. So it was kind of a more flexible job for me to do coaching on the side, because it gave me a really much better control over my time. So I started it when I went pro, and I also quit the industry. So I started for myself. So now it's been 4 years, actually.
Oh, well, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Have you found your mindset for triathlon has helped with running your own company?
I think that when you, I'm a really competitive person. It's kind of in a good way and in a bad way. But being a competitive person, you're always eager to find new ways and try new things and explore things, and also to go the distance, if you know what I mean. So I think that when you start your own company, it's a great parallel to being a professional athlete, because a lot of the same issues you have to go through with quitting and not quitting, and doing hard work and not getting paid. So it's a lot of the same issues you deal with.
And what's been the biggest challenge you've had to overcome with running your own company?
I think it's not quitting and not giving up on you, and just doing what you started and finish what you started, and never quitting. Because if you work day out and day in, it will always get better, and finally it will. Yeah.
So a lot of perseverance.
Yeah.
I agree with you there.
Yeah, you just have to do the job every day.
So I noticed that some people find the motivation to continue and to persevere when things aren't going as well as they hoped quite difficult. Are there any techniques or methods that you use to push through that adversity?
In sports, I always try to think about why I even started. Try to remind myself, why did I start this and why did I sign up for this? And if I still have doubts about it, I always find people that I know have beliefs in me, and I talk to them. Because sometimes you get really put down by your own head, because there's a lot of resistance on the road. There's a lot of resistance all the time, and if you have many of those, your motivation is kind of dragging you a little bit down. So at those times, it's really important to seek people that you know will support you and know will help you to find back on the way again. And that is the same thing with my company. Always remember why you started and remember why you never want to go back to what you had.
That's so interesting, because I've been recently learning the mental game, which is like a theory on mental mastery outlined by a sports psychologist called Simon Hartley. And the foundation of that mindset is knowing your why. So it's really interesting that you mentioned that.
And I think I really do believe that if you don't have a strong why, I really believe that if you don't know why you actually are doing this, at one point it's just not good enough. You will find it not important enough to pursue it, and then you will quit. I believe so. But I really think that you have to have a strong why, and you have to have a strong reason for why you're doing it, and believing in that, and reminding of yourself every now and then, and maybe sometimes every day.
May I ask what your why is for becoming a coach? Is it the same as being a triathlete?
No and yes. If I can put it in this way, what I experienced with Norseman and what I had that day, I really, really, really would like for other people to experience it. So it's kind of like paying it forward, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. So I think it's I think that if I can help people pursuing their own goals and helping them achieve them, I know what it will mean for them, not only today, but also for the rest of their lives, regardless of what other people think of their achievements. Because we all have different kind of perspective on why and how we are doing this, and that's not important. What's important is what it means for you, not for me, but for the individual.
That's so wonderfully put. Thank you. And I'm glad you touched upon Norseman. So for those who are listening and do not know what it is, Norseman is the Iskler Norseman Extreme Triathlon, and it's based in Norway, and it is one of the world's most extreme triathlons. And I'm really intrigued, Mette. What first drew you to want to attempt Norseman?
Can I say it's kind of like a forbidden fruit?
Yeah, totally.
Because it's I think that I've had the question like hundreds of times, and why shouldn't you do yours, and why are not you doing yours, and you should do it, etc., etc. And my reply to that was always never ever. It's not for me.
Really?
And then it becomes kind of like a forbidden fruit, something that you are not allowed to have, or you can't have, or if you have it, you have to swallow your own words. So it became like something that grew on me, and finally I saw that there was no way out of it. I just had to do it. So it was the first time I actually last year in 2017 in October when the roll or the sign up went, where you could put up for the lottery, that I actually thought that, okay, I just have to sign up. I just need to feel how it feels if I get a spot. So it was more like that than anything else. I really felt that I couldn't live without having done it, because I know that if I didn't, then my health and my body and my mind would go rotten. I would probably regret very much not doing it. Yeah.
Wow. And what do you think was the thing that made you switch to it becoming something you just couldn't get out of your head?
I think it was because, I don't know, you've been there, you have seen some of it, and you have like smelled and
It's
breathed
epic.
the atmosphere. So in 2016, I actually were there the first time just to be supportive and have some of my athletes there and just witness it all. And it kind of like, this is kind of interesting. And the same thing last year, I went there and supported some of my athletes, and I felt that I was missing out on something when I was sitting in the car and not being on the bike and in the hills. So it just grew on me, and I felt that I missed out actually.
And so how did you train differently for Norseman? Because it's so different to any other triathlon.
Oh, it just one word: uphill. uphill, baby. So I always train uphill, but never at this extent that I did this year. So it was upward. The only thing that didn't go up was the swimming, because that's kind of hard. But biking and running was a lot of the training was hill repeats and going up. And I didn't regret it, because the hills in Norseman actually was just a piece of cake.
I don't think I've ever heard anyone describe them like that yet.
But it's kind of when people say that, oh my God, Norseman is so scary and so hard, and I always reply that if you are prepared, nothing is hard, or nothing seems like hard. It's just something that you are prepared for. So when you are prepared and you are ready, it's kind of a good feeling, because if you haven't done the preparation, it's kind of scary to jump off the ferry, because you know what's up and you haven't done the work. So then it's hard. I totally understand that.
Yeah. Did you practice jumping off a ferry or a jetty into the water?
No, I was looking so forward to that. That was kind of when I realized that I was going for an adventure the whole day. The jump on the ferry, when I close my eyes and think about it, I can remember it as it was yesterday.
Can you describe it?
It was
to us.
I was feeling like I was like a 4-year-old. when you go to the swimming pool for the first time, and there is water, and there is waves, and there is current, and there's a lot of things that you can play around with. I felt like I was getting into a giant retreat area. Yeah. So it was really fun, and I really felt jittery like a 4-year-old, and I was looking so forward to just starting it.
And you did remarkably well in the swim as well.
Yeah, I did okay. I think it was. I really tried to preserve energy and not using my glycogen storage too much. Mm-hmm. So it was a good swim, because the water was just absolutely amazing. It was so calm and so beautiful and so clear and so crispy. So it was a really nice swim.
I think you're one of the only athletes to kind of run out of the water with like the biggest smile on your face. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was really. I can see the pictures, and I can see that it was pure joy. And I remember it really, really well. I was just feeling, oh my God, it's happening. I'm going to work now. So it was a mix-up of being finished with the swim, and getting out of the water, and just getting on dry land and getting to the bike. Because it's always nice when you do triathlons to jump onto the next like running or swimming or biking. So it's always nice to be finished with one of them.
And do you have a different mindset for a swim, for the bike, and for the run?
Yes, you do. If you want to or not, you kind of get into a different mindset because of the atmosphere. In the swimming, it's all about trying to keep calm and focusing on a good rhythm, and not stressing you up and just really having a good technique. On the bike, it's more like, okay, getting a grip and trying to find out how your legs are working and getting into a good rhythm and not overpacing yourself, and also trying to find out where the others are, or how the field is looking, and who's actually coming up behind you. The biggest thing with me racing this year was trying not to having a focus on the others. So I actually didn't ask about any of the other competitors until I think I was on Imingfjell. So I didn't know how they were doing before I was pretty much into the race.
Did you know you were the female lead?
Not in the beginning. I didn't know that. But I think actually Åge, my support, no, he didn't. No, one of the things that I told my support team that I was really, really clear on was, do not tell me how the others are doing. I do not want any information of if they are getting in or coming nearer or getting further until I ask. Because I really have to, because one of my main thing with competing is trying to stay in focus on my own work, and not trying to get my pace ruined by that other people are chasing me or that they are in front of me. I would just like to get in focus on how my body is capable of doing right now, and then when I'm ready, I can hear about the others. So I didn't actually know any of the other competitors before I was well into the biking distance.
Wow, that's so interesting.
Yeah, I this is something that I've chosen to do now. I didn't do this before, because before I was more occupied with what the other did and what the other didn't do, etc., etc. I find it more. I think it's better for me in my head just to focus on myself and what I'm doing.
I totally agree with you. That's actually what I teach my athletes as well.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting. So you've done the cycle ride, and what was the thing you loved most about the ride, the cycle?
Oh, it's the scenery.
Mm-hmm.
And also that it was tailwind.
Yeah, you guys are so lucky.
Yeah, because I know it's even though I think if it would have been a headwind, I would probably have had even stronger bike splits according to the others, because I'm a strong cyclist. So I don't think that would have put me down so much. And what's one of my biggest my best abilities is that I'm really strong-minded. So I really love to dig deep, and I really like to go into the pain and really work hard. But of course, when it's tailwind, you kind of get lighter. The sun gets brighter. Every smile's better, and it's kind of just better atmosphere when it's like that. But the scenery and especially the last hill up to Imingfjell, I think was really, really cool, because I actually happened to pass 3 guys up there, and they were looking really tired. And I was feeling so good that I was kind of, okay, just bring it on. So you get kind of strange that way. Yeah.
I imagine it's quite a satisfying feeling as well.
Yeah, it's really, of course it. I'm not 20 anymore, so it's of course to pass a 20-year-old guy that looks awesome on the bike uphill is really satisfying.
Oh, that's so awesome. And so then we come to the run, and it's flat for the first 25 kilometers. And as you're running along the road, you start to see Goodeve emerge. How did it feel when you first laid your eyes on the mountain?
It's what you think and what you feel immediately is that, oh my God, that's way too far. Because it looks so far away when you are down there and the hill is so far up. But you know that it's not so far away. You know that it's actually just a few kilometers until you get to Zombie Hill, and when you get to Zombie Hill, it's just a stroll up. So
A stroll.
So it's kind of you get deceived by the look of it. because it's not so far as it looks. Because I've been there, I've trained there, so I know how far it is. But it kind of like, oh my God, am I going up there? So it's when the first hits you, it's kind of like, oh my God, should I stop, take a coffee, or yeah. So but it's really cool though, because you know that some of the guys is already way up there and probably are soon on the finish line, and you know that you have to get up there no matter what. So it's kind of cool too.
And how do you feel going up Zombie Hill? Because that's 8 switchbacks for 10% incline for about, is it 10 miles, 5 miles?
Yeah, it's 10 kilometers.
10 kilometers.
Yeah. I had really, when I was running on the flat part, I had really trouble with stitches or cramping in my stomach. So I had to run really, really slow, even to just get forward. And when I came into Zombie Hill, the stitches was actually passing by. So it was kind of going away. So I was happy that I finally could run. But when I started to increase the speed, the cramping came in my legs, really, really bad. So I couldn't run so fast as I wanted to. But it's kind of mental when you are up there, because you know that it's 5 switches. And then you are to the cutoff, and you know that for every step you take, you get 1 step nearer to the finish line. So it's you just have to keep on working, and pain is just temporary. Everything goes away, and if it doesn't go away, too bad for you. But it's just a matter of dealing with things that are happening right now and then. So you just have to keep on working, and you know that if you quit. If I would have quit then, that was never an option. It's never an option unless you faint and go down. But as long as you have your head on your shoulder and you can think, quitting is never an option.
And do you have any mindset techniques, or do you say anything to yourself so you can dig deeper and move past that?
Yes, I always cheer on myself. I always say positive things to myself, like stupid things like, oh, Mette, you are so awesome. You are so cool. Come on, let's get going. You are getting there. So it's kind of like just peppering yourself with positive things. Because you are actually moving, you are getting forward, and the goal is getting nearer and nearer. So you just have to keep on going and pushing yourself. And I actually don't think that I have one simple negative thought through my mind through the whole race. And that is something that rarely happens. You always have some mental doubts, but I actually didn't have that. So that's kind of strange, but it was because it was really, really hard. But I kind of used the pain in a good way to focus on other things. So I just use the negative into a positive thing for me. Like if I had really sore legs or something, it was easier for me to focus on that than on my cramps. So you kind of switch between them, and you use it just to drive forward.
So you focused on the thing that caused you the least amount of issue.
Yeah. I also focused on trying to motivate myself and just saying things to me that made me feel good. And when you say things loud, you kind of program your subconsciousness to believing that this is good.
I think I love you even more, Mette. This is what I'm always telling people to do.
So and repeating, this is something that everybody should do before doing something really, really hard, is to speak loud to themselves and telling themselves why they are doing it and how awesome they really are. Because subconsciousness is a big issue when you race, really big issue, because they will kick in. And if your subconsciousness is not game on, you probably will stop and walk and do all those stupid things that you would regret.
100% with you there. And although I want to talk to you about the end, I'm really intrigued by what you just touched upon there with preparing your subconscious for race day. How do you do that?
this time it was really hard because the week before my race, I was actually all by myself. My family had gone on to Sørlandet, another place, so I was home alone. And when you are all alone, you're kind of left alone with your own head. So what I actually did was to talk to my coach, my mentor, and make him remind me about why, what my figures are and what I'm capable of, and helping me get on to my path again and just staying focused and knowing that this would not be a problem at all. I would get up there and it will be awesome no matter what. So for me it's more like getting in to talk to people and also trying to have people that to be surrounded by people that knows you and want to see you succeed. Yeah.
Great. So now we're going to fast forward, having kind of like rewound to fast forward to you're now on top of Goodeve and you're climbing up those final steps. Like, could you take us through that moment?
Oh, that was kind of, I think that was one of the best parts from the at the end of the Zombie Hill and up to Goodeve. I think that was really, really cool because I knew that when I came there, I just knew that if I came there first, I would be the first one to the top. I don't know why, I just knew it. And it was really, it was strange to go there because if I stepped wrong, I would cramp in the front side, back side, and in my calves. So it was really hard to walk and to try to walk fast and to pace myself because I really had to keep my mind on where I put my feet down. But I think I got new energy there also because I knew there was only like 4.2 kilometers to the top. So it's kind of crazy because you can almost feel that you can reach to the top or grab the top. It's so near. You just have to climb a little bit first. And it was, you are really, at that time, you're actually kind of really tired. So you get really emotional too. You think about all the time you have spent training and preparing and repeating everything that you have to do. You think about all the people you have trained with, all the people you have had moments with in the course. All the ups and all the downs and everything that you actually experienced since you started this. So it's kind of like having your life passing through in slow motion. And I was just embracing it and feeling that I was so over the top privileged that I could do this, even though I'm 44, I'm not 24 anymore. So and we have an athlete in Norway. She's called Adelaide. She's a really, really good mountain biker. She's actually the same age as I am. She has Olympic gold and World Championship, etc., etc. And after the last championship gold she had in the Europeans, she said, it's kind of cooler when you say it in Norwegian, but I can try in English. She said that her body was just awesome and she was just going for another goal. She was just putting it out there. And that's kind of how you feel when you're 44 and your body suits you like it's 24. You feel that nobody can conquer you, that you have the power to do whatever you want to do. And that is because the body is so well trained and so tuned for what you're doing that it's kind of like, it's kind of like your temple, if you know what I mean.
100% know what you mean.
So you kind of get really grateful though. And that kind of that is what fills you when you go up those steps and you take like 100,000 steps and every step counts and you just feel pure emotional and pure joy for just doing this and just getting the job done as you planned.
That's incredible.
So it's really fulfilling. Yeah.
Oh, you're making me so excited. I want to do Norseman now. And so when you crossed the finish line, you've already gone through all this emotion. How did it then feel to realise that you've won and that you smashed the record by 48 minutes?
I didn't actually know what the record was before I started, so I didn't know that I smashed it with 48 seconds. What I was kind of saying to my support team that when we were down running, I said I want to be top 10. Get me up there. I want to be top 10. So that was kind of what I was trying to figure out, which number I got, and I was number 12. And I didn't get disappointed or anything. It was because I didn't know what other people have done before and what number the other girls had come in. But it was kind of cool to know that I actually beat so many of the guys.
You did incredibly well.
It's fun, especially when they're so much younger than me.
Yeah, I have my friend has a Facebook group who has a podcast called Tough Girl Podcasts, and I posted the result in there, and we were all cheering you on.
Yeah, that's fun. That's nice. I think it's awesome. I think it's really important to have female role models in the sports. Just go for whatever you want, and no, don't let anybody stop you. If you want to do something, just do it. Don't let anybody tell you that it's impossible or it can't be done. All people are different, so let people do whatever they want if they feel that they can do that. I think it's awesome. But because I think that really one day we will have both female Olympic gold medalists that are way past 40. And I also believe that we one day will have female athletes that actually beat the guys, for example, marathon and ultra running.
When ultra is already happening, did you see, I can't remember her name, but she just beat everyone by, it was something insane, it was like 12 hours.
I think it's headed that way. And I think that's a lot of girls, and I can see that in my coaching, that some of the girls, they have really capacity to push themselves really, really well. And sometimes you have to just hold them back. I don't say the guys are not good in pushing themselves, but I see difference in some girls and some females that they're really, really good in pushing themselves and going beyond what is actually capable, or what they are capable of. So I think it's interesting.
I agree, it's really interesting. I also think now there's a much more supportive platform for women to kind of springboard off than there ever has been.
I think so too, but I think it's a long way still to go.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, really long way. So, but we're getting there. We're getting there. Yeah.
We're going to talk a little bit about family in the wildfire round, which I may not have mentioned beforehand.
Okay.
But before we go on to that, is there anything else that you'd like to add in the context that we've spoken about?
Oh, there's probably a lot, but if I get talking, we will never finish.
Okay, so now on to the wildfire round, and they're just quick questions that I ask my guests at the end to find out a little bit more about you.
Okay.
So the first one is, how do you balance family, work, and training, or maybe your number one tip for balancing all those three things?
I think planning and structuring your week is really important, and also to put in everyday training wherever you can, and not being so hard on yourself that you have to train this and that and this and that, but be happy with every training session you get, even though it's 20 minutes is better than nothing.
And when you think of an athlete being successful, who first comes to mind?
Oh, there are several. I have to mention females because they're awesome. It's Miranda Carefree. I really think she's awesome. Daniela Riff, really, really awesome, both of them. I just can't wait for the championship to happen so we can see what happens. But I think it's really awesome that Miranda is actually back from her child birth and laboring and stuff. So I really cheer for her.
I'm with you there. I'm so excited for the World Championships.
Yeah.
What's the one item you couldn't race without?
Oh, I don't have any actually. I don't have. I think no. It's my race suit, of course. But I don't have any things that I would die with if I didn't have. It's all the equipment that I have. There's so many items I have, but there's nothing that I really can't. Of course, you need training shoes, so you need jogging shoes, and you need a wetsuit, and you need a helmet, and all those stuff. But there's nothing that I don't have a hang up on one item.
Excellent. And finally, if you could have a billboard, what would it say and where would you put it?
Oh my God, this is too hard. Oh, a billboard. Where would I put it? I will put it up somewhere there everybody could see it, and it would say something like, "Live the way you live your life, you will have your life. So choose it wisely," or something like that.
Beautiful. Oh, I love it. Oh, Mette, it's been an absolute dream having you on. I loved you when I met you at Norseman, and after this, I love you even more.
That's very nice of you. Thank you.
And if our listeners want to find out more about you, where can they go?
I have a Facebook page, Mette Pettersen Coaching. I have an Instagram account where they can follow me. It's Mette Mora. Or Mette _Pettersen. I'm not so keen on Twitter and those stuff, but Facebook and Instagram, they can see. They can follow me if they would like.
Amazing. I'll put all of that in the show notes.
Yeah.
Incredible. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. This is a really fun experience for me to be on.
Awesome. Love it. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. Just one more thing before you take off. If you would like to achieve extraordinary performance, then do sign up to my weekly email at adelaidegoodeve.com/subscribe. Each week, I send out just a short email containing one mindset practice that'll help you perform at your best. You'll also receive my free ebook with superhuman Olof Dulner on developing a tough mindset, something you do not want to miss. You can just go to adelaidegoodeve.com/subscribe and sign up there for free. I am also on Instagram at AdelaideGoodeve and would love to connect with you on there too. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope to see you next time.